Our next guest is a guest that I really enjoy. Oh, that was not her. I was surprised by that. Our next guest was also born as a slave in 1864. Many people don't remember that of our guest. His fame as a scientist. He's visited the White House. He's been visited by presidents of many types. His contribution to American agriculture, his contribution to the world. He's a man of great kindness and a generous spirit. He's even tolerated Henry Ford, believe it or not. He's a professor at Tuskegee Institute in Alabama and has worked tirelessly on agricultural products to make them more useful to the American society and therefore to help the American farmer be able to have a better standard of living. He is also called, in brief, the Cotton Man, the Peanut Man. I give you Dr. George Washington Carver.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is George Washington Carver. Most of you out there know me as the Peanut Man, but I worked with many other plants than the peanut. I worked with cotton, and soybeans, and sweet potatoes. Now, I'd like to talk a little bit about sweet potatoes. Most people out there think they can cook a sweet potato, but they are wrong, so wrong. It makes me cringe just thinking about how many bad sweet potato dishes I've ever had. So, to redeem their errors, I made over 40 different sweet potato foods and products. I made sweet potato sugar, sweet potato flour, and sweet potato bread. You may be wondering, who did I work for? Who paid me? How much did I earn? And my answer is, I worked for everyone. I was paid very little. Once, Henry Ford himself offered me a 6-figure salary to work with him, but I declined. I felt I would better serve my people working at the Tuskegee Institute in Alabama. Most of all, I worked for God. Selfishness and self are at the bottom of a whole lot of troubles in this world. So many people fail to realize that the only worthwhile things in life are serving God and one's fellow men. It is service that counts. I wasn't always a scientist. In college, I studied music and art. In music, I loved the way the notes flowed up and down like a little brook in the forest. And in art, when I saw that little brush leave its little mark on the big blank white canvas, I thought of how small that mark may be, it will outlive us all. And it made me feel like I was part of something much, much bigger. The reason I decided to become an agronomist or a professor of agriculture was because of my art teacher. She knew that as a colored person, I would have trouble finding a job, even if my art was amazing. She knew that as a child, I would wander through the forests, looking at every tree, every leaf, every stem. She knew I wanted to know where everything got its life, its color. But there was no one to tell me. So she told me, she said, George, I don't think you'll be able to survive as an artist. I think you should become an agronomist. And I did, through the grace of God, and with the help of many good people along the way. I was born a slave, but soon after I was born, I was freed. My body was free, but not my mind. From early on, I knew that education is the key to unlocking the golden door of freedom. I was determined to free my mind. I traveled through many states, trying to find a good education. Once, I was accepted to a college in Kansas, but turned away at the front door because of my color. They told me, "We are sorry, but you cannot attend here. When you applied, you did not know you were a Negro. This is a school for whites only." Finally, I was accepted to the Iowa State College of Agriculture in Ames. And just 2 years after I enrolled there, I was appointed the first Negro faculty member to work at Iowa State. And, I published many papers, and my fame grew. At the time, Booker T. Washington was making a school for Negroes in Tuskegee, Alabama. And since I was the only colored agronomist in the entire country, he wanted me to come, head the agriculture department at Tuskegee. I accepted and traveled a long, hard journey from Iowa all the way down to Alabama. And when I got there, I was very tired but eager to see my lab. So I asked someone, "Excuse me, do you know where the lab is?" They looked at me confused, and they said, "What are you talking about? There is no lab here." I was so surprised then, because if Booker T. Washington had invited me to teach, why was there no lab? If there was no lab, I could not teach. So what I did is, I gathered a group of students, and together we went out to the city dump. We collected pots and pans and jars, brought them back to the ski, put them in an empty room, put plant sprigs in them, and from then on, ski had a lab. And the moral of my story is, sometimes there isn't already a path for you. Sometimes you need to carve a path for yourself. And I take great pride in being a Carver. Thank you.
Great job. Do you have time for a couple of questions?
Yes.
Great. And they're getting cold out here and they're getting restless. Questions right in the center.
Okay,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
I just wanted to say your speech was amazing, and so is your hair. You have really long, glamorous locks. And your hair products. We were wondering if you could recommend any hair products for us.
They would wonder about hair products for some particular reason. Go with it. Peanut oil, maybe?
I primarily use peanut oil for massages for people with polio, not for hairstyling.
Good response. Good response. Do you remember meeting or working with a fellow by the name of Luther Burbank? Because he worked with Henry Ford on the soybeans as well. Yes? No? You don't remember? Okay. It could be. I don't know if you worked on it together. I didn't know. That was my question, if you worked on it together.
I'm sorry, but I'm 73 now and my age is catching up with me. I know I worked with Henry Ford on the the soybean car. We put 2 bushels of peanut in every car. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. See, my memory is catching up with me. I meant soybeans.
So you didn't put 2 bushels in every car?
We put 2 bushels of soybeans in every car.
So did you just dump them in?
Oh, no. We converted the soybeans into plastic and used them in the horn for the car. And we used it for the frame of the car, too.
That's correct. And other things as well. Yeah, it's great. Great. He knows his stuff. Other questions for Mr. Carr? Oh, right there. With your glove on, I couldn't see it at all. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Did you have a favorite food?
Do you have a favorite food? Probably not peanuts. Probably sick of peanuts by now. But do you have a favorite food?
Actually, I do not have a favorite food. I like many foods, but I have tried many foods, very many foods, and I cannot pick a favorite one out of all of them.
Wow, they're tough tonight on giving out answers here. Yes, ma'am.
I heard you had a lady friend.
Here we go. I was waiting for this. Tell us about, well, you're 73. There must be a lot of women's stories in your life. You want to share a couple with us?
Actually, I was never married, and I never had a girlfriend or any romantic relationships in my life. I did have a close friend named Miss Sophie Liston, but she was already married, so.
Booing you. Yes, sir, the young man in the camouflage, who we can still see. But anyway, go ahead. And then to you, men.
Why do people call you the Peanut Man?
Why do people call you the Peanut Man?
People call me the Peanut Man because of my famous work with peanuts. I encouraged farmers, especially during the boll weevil in the southern, which were many maggots which infested the cotton plants and destroyed them. Also, the soil was becoming depleted, and I encouraged the growth of peanuts, which are legumes. They enrich the soil with carbon and make it better. They enrich the soil so it's better to grow cotton in that soil. And peanuts are one of the many things I work with, but I was known for peanuts because of my book that I published. It was called How to Grow a Peanut and 105 Ways to Prepare it.
105 ways to what?
Prepare it for human consumption.
Give us about 84 of them. What was your favorite way to prepare peanuts?
I think my favorite way was just to roast them and salt them lightly.
Very good. I like that too. Yes, ma'am.
What's that on the table next to you?
This,
What is that on the table next to you? It appears to be a flower, but tell us the story.
so, as you may have heard during my speech, I adore nature, and I always like to carry a flower with me to remind me of that. This particular flower is a wild rose.
And why is it in a test tube?
I just find it convenient to carry it around in this particular method.
Seems good to me. That's great. Other questions? We have time for one more, maybe. We have a gentleman right out here. Last question. Yes, sir.
Okay, wasn't part of the Peanut Man more than just that, and what caused you to spend your years of time researching the uses for peanuts? Wasn't there an incident after you started promoting growth of peanuts that precipitated that?
Yeah, he's thinking of a particular story about an incident that occurred about peanuts when you were starting to write the book that really changed your focus on it and why you were pursued it.
Well, while I was pursued, as you say,
Pursued it, yeah.
I
Say it well.
pursued it because I felt the need to help my fellow men. I always say, one man has no right to pass through this world without making at least a little bit of change to it.
Very good. And your change, the peanut alone, as you mentioned, helped with crop rotation and other things in the South because the boll weevil destroyed the cotton crop and most farmers were pretty much destitute until the peanut came along as a viable crop for the South. Correct? And soybeans, right? It was another thing that you and Henry Ford were trying to find uses for the soybean, right? Didn't you make soybean ice cream for him?
Yes, I did once. Ice cream. It was not a success.
Yeah, I heard that when he forced his managers to eat it and they all hated it but had to pretend they liked it or they got fired.
No, Mr. Henry Ford was not nearly that harsh.
Stick around. I'd like to introduce, thank Thank you, George Washington. And I'd like to introduce Miguel Wu, who hails, I love that, hails from Huntsville, Alabama. Recently moved to Reno, a 5th grade student at the Nevada Connections Academy, or you just finished at Nevada Connections, is that correct?
Yes, I just finished.
And he's a Davidson Young Scholar. And as a Davidson Young Scholar, this would have followed. His interests are math, science, and trivia. Miguel chose Dr. Carver because he admires his scientific ability and his persistence to get an education. Great job. Thank you, Miguel. And I'd like now, kill the rose, I'd like to invite out all our young Chautauquan scholars to come out and take a bow and get up. And also bring up, while we're doing this, didn't they do a great job? Give them a great... That's good. Wait, now the frog is here with us? That was a frog. Great. I'd also like to introduce, if she'll come up here, Anita Watson, who was the wrangler for Young Chatauqua, the Young Chatauqua coordinator, Anita Watson, and her assistant, Lizzie, to come up. And she's coming up. Anyway, she's coming up. A favorite of Lucille Ball, apparently. Anyway, it's been a great night. They did a great job. Come back to the tent during the daytimes, 9:30 to 11:30, to see the Young Chatauquans. I'm going to say goodbye for now. Do remember all the things going on during the day. Tomorrow, workshops, the Young Chatauquans, and tomorrow night, Edison and Einstein. Woo! And tomorrow morning, if you want to have more lunch with or breakfast with the gang, they'll be at Sundance Books, probably without the mustaches, beards, and red hair. I don't know. But see you all tomorrow at some point. Have a good night.